Humpty Dumpty was pushed by Woody.
What?
Wait a minute, you don't think I meant to knock Buzz out the window, do you?
On November 19th, 1993, John Lasseter, the director of Toy Story, walked into a screening room and showed Disney executives the first rough version of the film. What he showed has now become known as the Black Friday reel. In this version, Woody was not the warm, loyal, slightly jealous but ultimately good-hearted cowboy we know. He was a tyrant. He ruled Andy's bedroom like a dictator. He abused the other toys verbally.
What do you think you're doing? Off the bed. Hey! Off the bed!
Constantly snapping at Slinky Dog.
Slinky! Get up here and do your job!
Insulting him to his face.
You don't think I was right? Who said your job was to think, Spring Wiener?
He treated the other toys with open contempt. He was cynical and mean and driven entirely by self-interest. In one clip, Woody threw Buzz out of a window on purpose because he didn't want Andy to pick Buzz as his favorite toy. Buzz was literally in the middle of shaking his hand.
I'd just like to wish you luck. I know you'd do the same for me.
Oh, yeah.
After flinging Buzz out of a window, he pulls the blinds down, turns around and sees that every other toy in the room witnessed what he just did. He lies and claims Buzz slipped and he was trying to help. Tom Hanks, who was voicing the character, reportedly told the crew, "This guy is a jerk." Roy Disney and the other executives watched this and hated it so much they shut down the entire production. They gave Lasseter 2 weeks to fix it or the movie was dead. In those 2 weeks, the team completely rebuilt Woody. They changed his motivation from being purely power-hungry to something more relatable. Jealousy rooted in love for a child, not just desire for status. They also made the window incident accidental. And Pixar has also confirmed that almost everything from that original darker version of Woody was not thrown away. It was transferred directly into the villain of Toy Story 3. Everything Woody was in the Black Friday reel, the jealousy, the spitefulness, the cruelty, the tyrannical control was poured into the bear. Lotso is explicitly designed as what Woody would have become if things had gone differently. Which means Pixar is telling us two things at once. One, they know who Woody was originally. Two, they believe that the character is only one bad day away from the version we got. And here is the thing. The rewrite toned Woody down, but it did not remove him. He is still a tyrant in the movies that were released. Let's start at the very beginning of the actual movie. Before Buzz even shows up, before there is any jealousy or rivalry or drama, the first thing Woody does as a leader of Andy's toys is organize a staff meeting. He holds it before Andy's birthday party. Why? At a young boy's birthday party, he will receive new toys and jealous Woody needed to know if the toys were gonna be a threat, so he deploys an intelligence operation. He sent Sarge and the entire bucket of green army men downstairs to spy on Andy's birthday party using a baby monitor. Sarge gives it a code name.
Recon Plan Charlie, execute!
They execute it with military discipline. Soldiers are lowered down on a jump rope. One is even injured during the operation and paratroopers are dropped. And all of this intelligence is being fed back to Woody live in the bedroom so he can assess the threat level of each incoming toy. The way Woody organized this mission and the way the army men moved makes me feel like this is something they've done before many times. Think about this for a second. Woody organized a surveillance network around a child's birthday party for one reason, so he could know what toy was coming and be ready to manage the situation before it got out of his control. He's not doing this because he cares about the other toys. He says he is, but if you follow the logic, the entire operation is about preserving his own position.
Oh, shut up. In a couple of days, everything will be just the way it was. They'll see.
Now here is something that does not get discussed nearly enough. Woody's authority in Andy's bedroom is not based on anything he actually does. He has no special skill that the other toys lack. He cannot fly like Buzz eventually does. He does not have a laser. He does not have any gadget that distinguishes him. His authority comes from one source and one source only. Andy loves him most. The fact that he is Andy's favorite toy is what gives him the right to run meetings, give orders and dispatch spy networks. His power is entirely derived from his proximity to the child. And when that proximity is threatened by Buzz, the mask slips immediately. There is a moment in the first film that most people either forget about or dismiss as a throwaway joke. After Buzz has arrived and the other toys have started gravitating toward him, Woody walks across the room, rolls Buzz out from under his spaceship and says,
Listen, Light Snack, you stay away from Andy. He's mine, and no one is taking him away from me.
He's mine. He's talking about a human child, a person. He's using the possessive. He's not saying Andy and I have a special relationship. He's saying the child belongs to me, that no one is allowed to interact with his property. Buzz, who has no idea what is happening and is still convinced he's a real space ranger who has crash-landed on an alien planet, just stares at him in confusion. And I don't blame him. What Woody is saying sounds completely unhinged. It is the language of someone who has built their entire identity around controlling access to another being and who loses their grip the moment someone else enters the picture. Then there is the window scene. Even in the softened final version of the movie, what happens at the window is not as innocent as the film wants you to believe. Woody finds out that Andy is only allowed to take one toy to Pizza Planet. He consults the magic 8 ball and gets an answer he does not like. He then formulates a plan to knock Buzz behind Andy's desk so Buzz will be lost and Andy will have no choice but to take Woody instead. He goes to execute this plan. He intends to knock Buzz behind the desk. What he gets is Buzz going out the open window entirely. Now, the film frames this as an accident, and by the end of the movie, when Woody has clearly learned his lesson and changed, that framing holds. But look at it in isolation. A leader who organized a spy network because he felt threatened, who told a rival to stay away from his child, who then devised a scheme to have that rival temporarily lost, and who, when that scheme goes wrong and the rival ends up outside the window, immediately tells the other toys it was an accident.
Guys, come on. Now, you gotta believe me.
And then the other toys do not believe him. Mr. Potato Head says it directly.
What do you mean?
I mean, Humpty Dumpty was pushed by Woody.
What?
Sarge turns on him.
Egg, you are an absolute disgrace. You don't deserve to hang.
The entire room turns on him because they watched it happen and their read on what they saw is not accident. Their read is the guy with all the power just tried to get rid of his competition.
Potato Head?
That's Mr. Potato Head to you, you backstabbing murderer.
Now, it was an accident. Guys, come on.
Woody did not even get the benefit of the doubt from people who had known him and trusted him for years, and you expect me to. There is one piece of information about Woody that almost nobody talks about because it was never mentioned in any of the films, but it is canon. It was confirmed in 2009 by the director of Toy Story 3 on his Twitter account that Woody's full name is Woody Pride, not Sheriff Woody, not just Woody, Woody Pride. That has been his name since the earliest days of development on the original film. It was designed into his character from the beginning. And once you know that, go back and watch his behavior through all 4 movies. Every single thing Woody does, every single choice that hurts him or the people around him traces directly back to pride. The jealousy of Buzz is not just jealousy, it is pride. The pride of a leader who built his authority on being chosen, suddenly confronted with the possibility that the choice can be reversed. The museum decision in Toy Story 2, where Woody briefly decides to abandon Andy and go to Japan to be preserved forever, is pride. He would rather be worshipped from behind glass than risk being outgrown. The moments in Toy Story 3 where he insists against all evidence that Andy still wants them, that the attic is the right destination, that the daycare is beneath them, that is pride. The point is this: a character whose surname is Pride, whose defining flaw is pride, and who is designed by Pixar's own admission as the mirror image of the franchise's greatest villain, is being sold to us as the hero. Let's talk about Toy Story 2, because this is where the Lotso parallel becomes impossible to ignore. Woody gets stolen by Al, an obsessive toy collector, and taken to an apartment where he discovers he's a valuable collectible from a 1950s TV show called Woody's Roundup. He meets Jessie, Bullseye, and Stinky Pete. He learns that Al plans to sell the complete collection to a museum in Tokyo. Woody's first instinct is to leave. He tells them he has to get back to Andy, and then Stinky Pete starts working on him. He tells Woody that Andy is going to grow up, that he's going to stop playing with Woody, and that the museum is the only way to last forever. And Woody, who has built his entire identity around being Andy's toy, cracks almost immediately. Within a day of being in that apartment, he has decided to stay. He's going to let himself become a museum piece, preserved in glass, never played with again, never loved again, just to be observed forever and ever. This is similar to what Lotso does in Toy Story 3. After Lotso loses his owner, after the thing that gives his life meaning is taken from him, he retreats into control. He built a system where he can never be hurt again. No more love, no loyalty, just order. And he runs that system with an iron fist, making decisions for every toy in that building, telling them what to think about children, about ownership, about what their lives mean. Woody, sitting in that apartment in Toy Story 2, made the same choice Lotso made. When the thing that defines you is threatened, you find a new system where you are safe. And now we have to talk about Toy Story 4. Pixar frames it as a beautiful ending, as growth, as Woody finally finding himself, and maybe it is. I am not going to tell you it is not a well-made film, but here is what actually happens. Woody has spent 3 movies delivering the same sermon to every toy who has struggled with their purpose. You exist to make your child happy. That is your calling. That is your highest meaning. When Jessie was sad after getting abandoned by Emily, Woody brought her back by reminding her that children needed the toys. When the other toys wanted to stay at the daycare, Woody insisted that they belonged to Andy. When Buzz and the gang were about to give up, Woody invoked the sacred obligation of toy to child over and over again. He has been the high priest of this religion for 24 years of storytelling, and then in Toy Story 4, Bonnie stops playing with him. She puts him in the closet. She forgets about him. He still belongs to her. The name on the boot has been changed to Bonnie, but she has moved on to other toys. And Woody, confronted with the thing he has been telling other toys to accept gracefully for his entire existence, cannot do it. He sneaks into Bonnie's backpack to accompany her to school. He reunites with Bo Peep, who has been living happily without an owner for years, and he slowly comes around to the idea that maybe she's right. Maybe toys do not have to belong to a child. And at the end of the movie, he stays with Bo Peep. He abandons Bonnie, who still owns him. He abandons Buzz, his best friend, his partner across every movie, the toy he once said would be with him for infinity and beyond. He walks away from all of it. Now look, you can read it as a toy finally making a choice for himself, and maybe that is the intended reading. But if you take Woody's own belief system seriously, the one he has been preaching to every other toy who tried to leave or quit or give up, what he does at the end of Toy Story 4 is the most selfish thing any toy in these movies has ever done. He does the exact thing Lotso did. He decides the relationship with the child is not worth the pain, so he checks out. And unlike Lotso, who had at least been genuinely abandoned, Woody still has an owner. Bonnie is not a teenager who grew out of him. She's a kindergartner who just started putting him in the closet a little more often? Woody Pride, the toy who told every other toy that their purpose was non-negotiable, that loyalty was everything, that you never give up on your child, quits. Toy Story 5 is in development and will be released next month, and from the trailer, it seems like I will be a fan of the sheriff. A new all-powerful toy has come into the picture, the iPad. We are about to have an epic battle between physical and digital toys. I wonder who will come out on top. Okay, well, this is my theory. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, check out my recent videos. Subscribe if you want more.